Hey there, YouTube. I'm Forrest Latter-day Skeptic. If you like the content I'm putting out here, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. It really helps out the channel. Besides that, enjoy the clip.
Yeah, I feel like every time I talk to the more conservative side, they all despise John Dehlin, which I get it from a political perspective. But on a lot of his content, I still see as like very just Mormon related. But he also does have a lot of political content, and I know the Porch Time guys will like laugh at how like he always like we don't do politics here, and it's like you obviously do
Yeah.
politics. We
Yeah.
and maybe I'm also just I I guess maybe there are people that like will see him and see him as neutral, but like I go into watching, I watch John Dehlin. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is a guy that has a lot of very interesting people on his channel that talk about very interesting Mormon related content, and he also has this left leaning bias that I'm aware of. So maybe it's just I have kind of screened that out in my mind.
Yeah.
But also, I just can't imagine people are watching that and being like so naive and so malleable that they're like, this is what being ex-Mormon means. It means like I've talked to I brought this point up a couple times. Like to me, it seems a little bit patronizing to like it seems like you may be assuming that people leaving the church are just like these children that don't have any critical thinking abilities, and that John Dehlin is just their puppet master that can, guide them in whatever direction he wants. To me, it's like he's
I mean,
presenting an argument, and if his argument is a good argument, then people will listen, and if his argument is bad, then people may not listen. But he's just doing the same thing we're doing, which is he's presenting his case, and maybe the place that we can criticize him is he's not acknowledging that's what he's doing.
right.
But
I
sometimes it's
don't,
hard to like decipher where, like, I think where he defined neutral, he doesn't even realize is not neutral.
right.
It's very left leaning.
Yeah. I mean,
And so,
we're criticizing a blind spot, which to a certain degree, maybe he can't be culpable for having a blind spot because it's kind of the
it's blind.
definition of a blind
Yeah.
spot, you're not aware of it. But I do think, I mean, I did a video on this. I went over Erickson's stages of like identity versus I forgot what it is, but in Eric Erickson's stages of development, he goes over identity versus role confusion. And Mormonism, I think it really does take on your whole identity. And so I don't see myself as being, rude to these people by saying like I think that he could sneak things into your way of thinking that you don't recognize, but people really are such a blank slate. You really question everything. Like you don't know I was in the stage of not really knowing which way was up and not really knowing which way was down
But I
for
guess a
about
good example
two and a
is
half years.
but you were still able to see Zelf on the shelf and be like, wait a minute, this is crazy.
That was at the end of the 2 years, but
Okay.
yeah. And I actually did. It was weird. I left the church and I actually did swing pretty hard liberal for a while. Just because that's everything that I was consuming at that time.
And I think that's more of the issue than I think John Dehlin converting people. I think it's more a matter of like overcorrection. I think people leave Mormonism and they think, well, this, and this were all lies. So I'm going to assume all these other things I was taught were
Right.
lies. When it's like, no, those are actually good. We want to hang on to those.
Right.
And so
But
then
because
and I
they're the
think maybe
biggest,
that's even what John Dehlin is doing.
yeah. I mean, if there was somebody as big as him coming from either an aware right side of the political spectrum perspective, or just if he was just saying like, I'm super leftist, I'm very woke, like, this is my perspective on these things, then I think it would be fair. But yeah, I mean, maybe we're just beating down the same point, but I think the fact that he's calling himself neutral and he's just, like
the blame to give on John Dehlin is on that point right there.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. I'll be releasing the full interview soon. I'm Forrest Latter-day Skeptic, and thank you for watching.